Yo. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn show, man. Today is June the 28th. We have 4 WNBA games on the board for today. Quick recap of yesterday. Fever, minus the 6.5. Gave it out yesterday to you guys on the show. Told you guys it was my favorite play of the day. And it's the one that I actually played. I also ended up, that was so 1-0 day yesterday. I also ended up on Phoenix as soon as the Marina Mabrey news got ruled. She got ruled out. I think it was like 3-0, and the tempo I hit a 3, so I got a plus 7.5. They ended up winning the game outright. Julia Alamont over her assists was easy. 6.5 was the number yesterday. She finished with 10 or 12 or something like that. Rochan did not go over her assist. I liked her assist line. It did open at 4.5. And Aaliyah Boston, she didn't need to do much because everybody else contributed. So I think she finished with like 17 and 7. She might have went over her points. I didn't play it, so I'm not sure if she cashed the line or not. Getting into the day, man. Let's jump right into it. Big slate. We'll start off with Jackson, AI Sports Betting Tool. It's linked in the description, as it always is. Today, I asked Jackson, wanted to go back to the total prompt. I'll give you guys a total and a actual player prop here. So the total prop was so the prompt is analyze today's WNBA slate to identify the highest value opportunity for game totals, over-unders, highlight matchups with the largest discrepancy between the current sportsbook lines and projected outputs based on teams' pace, possessions per game, offensive and defensive efficiency ratings over the last 5, and head-to-head historical trends. Specifically factor in rest advantage, travel schedules, and missing key rim protectors or high-volume scorers. Provide the data, pace projection, and analytical reasoning for each over-under recommendation. So the one that I want to go to here is the Minnesota Lynx and the Dallas Wings. I think it's the one that I was looking at that I didn't see any discrepancies in. I think, this is the one. All right, so Jackson actually likes under between Minnesota and Dallas. And it says that the edge here lies on the defensive discipline of the Minnesota Lynx and the situational fatigue of the Dallas Wings. The market is pricing this game at 177.5, but the situational data points towards a defensive grind. Minnesota features a top 4 defensive unit that's allowing just 82.3 points per game and excels at forcing opponents into half-court execution where scoring efficiency drops. Dallas is in a brutal situational spot, this is the news and narrative synopsis. Dallas is in a brutal situational spot, having recently played high-intensity contests that have taxed their primary rotation. Tired legs typically show up in the offensive end and at the free throw line. The Lynx are locked in defensively and have shown a consistent ability to grind the tempo to a halt. In a matchup where the league's most efficient defensive shell meets a fatigued Dallas squad, reaching 178 points threshold is statistically improbable. My model projects a total closer to 169, providing an 8.5 point edge on the under at plus money. So Jackson likes under in this game. And then the other one I wanted to give you guys was a player prop, and it was the same exact prompt that we've been talking about for a while now, which is analyze the slate, identify high value opportunity for player props. Focus on lines that show a significant discrepancy against recent 5-game rolling averages, tracking changes in usage rates due to injuries or favorable defensive matchups, specifically targeting matchups and points, rebounds, or assists, and provide the data, underlying metrics, and reason for each recommendation. So the one that I want to give you guys is the one I think is a good one is Jackie Young, right? We've been talking about this for a while now, and she's consistently cashed. Jackie Young over her 23.5 points and assists. It says that she's cleared this line 80% of her last 5 games, 90% of her last 10, averaging 26.4 points and assists in that span. She's also averaged 26.7 points and assists in 3 meetings with Chicago last season. Despite the Sky's top-rated defense, which they're not, in her position, Young's usage and efficiency are simply too high to ignore. So I do like that one a lot. I think that's a really good player prop in this one. So those are the 2 looks that I'll leave you guys with. Jackie Young over her points and assists, and the Minnesota and Dallas under 177.5. So let's jump into it. So first up is that Minnesota and Dallas game. And the total in this one is starting to drop a little bit. This was 178.5 last night when I wrote it down in my notes. Looks like it is starting to trend back up, but it came down to 177.5. Spread 3.5. Yesterday it was 4. It was 4. So some 4.5s was out there. It went as low as 2.5, and now it's coming back up to 3.5. So this was the game that I spent way too much time looking into, and I'm gonna save you guys the capping that I looked into for this game, because I knew. So let's start with the injury report. Nobody significantly on it, I don't think. Dallas will be without Odyssey Sims and Alana Smith. With the Alana Smith part does mean something. She's missed the last couple games, but she's going to be out due to concussion protocol again. Odyssey Sims is out. And then just Dorka Juhas and Nafisha Collier, who've missed the whole season for the Minnesota Lynx. So you got a Minnesota team that is super well rested in this spot. They're coming off 3 days rest. I don't want to fade them because of that. They've already beaten Dallas twice. And this is their 7th straight game in a different venue, which I do think is a bit important. They played in 3 straight unders, 3 really good defensive teams, back-to-back unders against the Washington Mystics, and a slow-paced Washington Mystic team, and then the slowest-paced team in the Golden State Valkyries. They won that game and stayed under in that game as well. So they didn't cover against Washington in either game, but they did come back and get the win. On the Dallas side of things, they're returning home off a 2-game road trip. And they lost to Vegas. That was a double revenge spot for Vegas. We got them right in that game. This is their 10th straight game in a different venue. And they're coming off 2 days rest, but they are at a 1-day rest disadvantage. So not the greatest of spots here for Dallas, because they go back on the road to play 4 more road games after this. So it's definitely a sandwich spot for Dallas. I think, Dallas has played the complete opposite. They played in 4 straight overs. So the total for me was very tricky in this game. Dallas going over. Defensively, they haven't been great. Minnesota, the best offensive team. Well, now 3rd best offensive team, because they've had back-to-back pretty terrible offensive games against Washington and and Golden State. But now they get a defense that isn't as great. Dallas is not the worst defense, but they're not as great. So I had a lot of things on the under. If we actually go over to the money baller, I want to show you guys what I was looking at in this game when I was looking at the total. So just from a total perspective, we'll go there first, and then I'll touch a little bit on the side, and I'll talk about a player prop that I like in this game. So Minnesota and Dallas, let me minimize myself a little bit. All right, so bunch of systems on both teams, as you can see here, like a lot of different things going on here. I got systems on both teams as well. You can see that. And then what I wanted to show you guys was just this under. So if we go here, we look at the Wings, specifically in the first half, 13-5 to the under. And the Lynx is road favorites, 4-2 to the under. And so neither one of these teams, going super high over. Now the first game flew over. This first game went under the number. The second game flew over the number, with the Minnesota Lynx scoring 100 points in that game. If we just look at the last 10, we come down here, we can see that Minnesota is still first in offensive efficiency and defensive efficiency, and a plus 15.8 in net efficiency as well. Wings, again, 7-3 to the under in the first half, and Minnesota 7-3 to the over. They've typically done really, really well early in games. The thing that held me up a little bit in this game was, as far as like taking the under, is I do have some systems on the over as well. And the way that Minnesota's been playing offensively as of late would lend itself to an under. But I think that because because Dallas is not the greatest defensive team, Minnesota will be able to score in this game. Ultimately, what I ended up coming up with was I like Minnesota in this spot. I know that the Dallas has double revenge. I know that Dallas is a really good team and they'll be locked in. I don't like the situational spot, and I think the biggest thing that stood out for me is just the way that the Minnesota Lynx score. They score in the paint. All right, this is the second. They scored the second most points in the paint. And the Mystics, the team that they struggle with, actually top 3 in points allowed in the paint. Now you got a Dallas team that's giving up the 5th most points in the paint. So I do think Minnesota offense is going to be able to score the basketball in this game. And it's an early start time game. It's a 2:00 start time game. But I do think Minnesota is going to be able to get busy in this game. So I lean Minnesota. I haven't bet it yet, but I probably will be on Minnesota in this game. From a player prop perspective, I think you just continue to go with what's been working. I don't think, when I looked at the Minnesota Lynx, they are So first off, they're 3-0 ATS this season when they have more than 2 days rest. And I mentioned that they have 3 days rest in this spot. The Wings are 0-2 straight up and against the spread so far this season in revenge spots. So when they've been playing against these really good teams, they have not done well. And Minnesota just, like I said, they score so many points in the paint. So speaking of points in the paint, Natasha Howard, man, like her and Olivia Miles' chemistry has been off the chain. If we look at them this season, we can see that her points prop sitting at 16.5, and she's averaging right at that, right? 17.5, a little bit over the number. We can see that, she's on a pretty good streak here. Back-to-back games with 20 and 21, 4 of her last 6. We can see have gone over this number. And more importantly, when these two teams have matched up this season, we just go head to head. These two meetings here, 26 and 21. And a big part of this is because, again, Dallas gives up a bunch of points in the paint. Natasha Howard should be able to get busy in this game. If I'm betting a player prop, it is Natasha Howard over her points at 15.5. All right, so that's the first game. Minnesota, for me, no definitive, position on the over/under. Got more systems on the under than the over, but I think Minnesota is the right play in this game. I do think they can go ahead and get the job done. All right, let's move over to the next. I spent so much time on that game. The Fire will be in Washington. This is the game I won't spend much time on at all. I absolutely can't stand either one of these teams. Portland has Carly Samuelson listed as game time decision. She's questionable with a finger injury, and then Washington has nobody on the report. So Phoenix has been probably the worst team in the WNBA since June started. They're 2-7, both straight up and against the number. Those 2 wins came against the Dallas team at home without Paige, and then a come from behind win. They were down by 5 against Seattle and won the game by 5. And those outside of those, this team has just been bad. They started a 4-game road trip with a pair of road games in Chicago and got absolutely blown off the floor. 53 points is what they lost by back-to-back games. This Portland team, and they're just the worst defensive team. They play super slow. They don't get a bunch of easy baskets, and they give it up in the paint. So from a paint perspective, I do think that Washington should be able to feast as well. Cardoso just had 30 points and didn't even miss a shot. I think she was 13 for 13. So that should lend itself to some Kiki Iriafen or Shakira Austin to be able to get busy in this game. Also, going to the Washington side of things, this team has also been just uber inconsistent, right? They play back-to-back home games back-to-back games against Minnesota, and they look good. They had a chance to win both. They won the first one, and before that, they beat the Mystics. I'm sorry, they beat the Liberty, and then if they don't get outscored the way that they did in the fourth quarter in the second game against the Minnesota Lynx, then they had a chance to win that game as well. They take a short trip to Connecticut and score 50 points. Like 57 points. I can't get Washington right. I'm not going to be betting on this team for the foreseeable future. They're laying 6.5, the biggest number that they've laid at home all season. They haven't covered either game at home. 0-2 against the number so far this season. I forgot who those 2 losses were against, but I can't lay with Washington. I can't take points with Phoenix. Proverbial gun to my head, I think I would lay the points because Phoenix has just been that bad. Washington should be able to score the basketball, but every time I think Washington should be able to score the basketball, they can't. They went under their team total by 27.5 points against the Connecticut Sun in their last game. And Connecticut is nothing to write home about. So their team total today, I think, is 86.5. They hover around about that. We know Portland can give it up for sure. They're giving up, 90 points per game? But betting Washington to score basketball is it's like playing Russian roulette. I'm good on that. I got some systems on the over. Also got a system on Portland. No way I can pull the trigger on that. So I'll easily skip this game. Maybe some Kiki Iriafen, Shakira Austin props, but nothing for me in this one at all. All right, hit the like if you can, subscribe if you guys have not, and let's push through to the last 2 games. And both of these last 2 games are interesting, man. We'll start off with this Aces and Chicago game. So this line 7.5 has come down to 6.5 on a couple books. Total is going up 179.5. It looks like it's the number up from 178. Very interesting game, and I'll start with the injury report. So Dana Evans is out. She's out again, and then Kennedy Carter was upgraded. She was off the injury report. Now she's listed as questionable, back on the injury report. It's still the quote unquote illness that she's been dealing with. She looks fine on the bench, just looks sad that she's not playing and bored. But I don't know what she got going on. We'll see if she plays. We know that she did play for the Chicago team the last time that she was in the W. So, keep that, in your back pocket. And then also Courtney Vandersloot returned in the last game, and Chicago looked really good. They've actually covered 6 of their last 7 games. The only game that they didn't cover was, ironically, the game against the Connecticut Sun, where they got the doors blew off them to the Connecticut Sun as well. So still super inconsistent team the Chicago team is, but they are coming off back-to-back blowout wins against this Portland Fire team. They beat them by 23 and then by 30 in their last 2 games, and this is their 3rd straight home game for them. So the Aces on the opposite side of things, we got them correct against Dallas late. The 5.5 was the number. I think I bet first half -3.5 in that game. But they do have a look ahead. This is the biggest thing to look at in this game. The Aces got the Commissioner's Cup game on Tuesday in New York. That's their next game, and they're off a win. Versus Dallas in their last game. So it's a pretty interesting spot, man. I think the over is the right play. I worry. My concern here is that when these two teams play, like typically we see unders. The Aces have won 5 straight, and all 5 have gone under the number. Chicago's been playing a little bit better offensively, but they could be in for a little bit of a lapse because they have struggled to score the basketball against some pretty good defensive teams. You're going to need Sydney Taylor to be really good. You're going to need Azurá Stevens to show up. You're going to need Courtney Vandersloot being back is, in my opinion, an addition for offense and a subtraction for the defense. So I agree with the total going up. I should have probably got in at 178, but again, that 5 straight unders in the head-to-head matchup just kind of scared me a little bit. So I didn't play the total. Don't really want to lay points with the Aces, with it being the look-ahead spot to the Commissioner's Cup. So I guess I say all that. I guess I lean Chicago plus the points, but it wouldn't surprise me if Chicago got the doors blew off of them and wasn't able to score the basketball and this game goes under either. So I'll lean in that direction, but I probably won't be on this game. That's my thought process. All right, next one up and last one on the board is the Golden State Valkyries and the New York Liberty. And this line is actually flipped now. This line is Golden State minus the 1.5 is consensus. So you've seen a flip of favor since last night. The total has stayed the same though. 163.5 was the opener, and it's still 163.5. Injury report here: Satu Sabally with the concussion. She probably gonna miss their Commissioner's Cup game as well. And you can get some 3.5s right now for the Aces. See what happens in this game, and then I'll probably be betting that game early on Tuesday. And then Golden State side of things, injury report looks about the same. Latricia is listed as game time decision. She could potentially make her return. She has not played in quite a while. She was dealing with muscle spasms. So on the New York side of things, really, really bad loss. Seattle, I guess we could say that they're playing a little bit better. They are playing better. I got to give them a little bit of credit, but these games have been at home. They've been in, nice little buy low spots. Last night against Atlanta, got rid of them. Game before that, got rid of this New York team, and New York just didn't come out super focused and locked in that game at all. So it should be a little bit of a bounce back spot after losing to Seattle, but also they have the Commissioner's Cup game coming up against the Aces. And the other thing for New York is this is the last of a 4-game road trip. So we got the Valkyries at the crib, back-to-back wins against Atlanta. I think before the wins against Atlanta, they had also won that game as well. Who did they play against? They had lost. They had lost to the Aces. That's what it was. Yeah. So back-to-back wins. 3rd straight home game. They played in 4 straight unders. I really want to bet under in this spot. I got some strong systems on the under. The thing I worry about, and I guess I don't worry about it too much, is just the Liberty being able to to kind of play some defense. This is a team that when they're locked in, they're locked in. They can beat the Aces in Las Vegas, of course. But when they're not, they can give up 100 points to the Sparks. They can give up 100 points to Seattle. After the game, both the head coach and a lot of the players, kind of called out the inconsistencies and the lack of execution from the opening tip. I say all that to say, I am expecting a little bit from the Liberty in this game. Like, I know it's a look ahead spot. They got the Commissioner's Cup game coming up. But losing to Seattle, Jocko Jones has some very strong words. So did Chris DeMarco and Leone Fevish after that game as well. So if we go over, just really quickly, let's go back over to the Money Baller. And I talked about this in the other game, in the most recent game for this Valkyries team. First half under, man. This has been absolute money when the Valkyries have been at home. Look at this. So first half under, Valkyries are 14-5 to the under in the first half. If they're a home favorite, 2-6, 6-2 to the under. But even if they're a home dog, 3-1 to the under. So even if this flips back, and then the Liberty first half as well, 12-7 to the first half under. They have the rest advantage, 4-1 to the first half under. So I say all that to say, if I'm playing this game, which I do want to put, I want some action. First half total points under would be my recommendation here. You can get 80.5 right now on Caesars and DraftKings at the time of this recording. There's some 79.5s, but I think we could see, a very slow pace, grinded out style game here. If we just look at these teams as far as pace goes, we know that the Valkyries played the slowest pace. The Liberty also, 10th in pace as well. We adjust this to the last 10 games. Still the slowest pace, 8th in pace. Both defenses are good. Liberty 4th, Valkyries 3rd. Last 5 games, last in pace, 10th in pace. Defensive rating is 11. Don't like to see that. Defensive rating is 4th for the Valkyries. I can't bet the Liberty, but it wouldn't surprise me if they got the job done. I kind of thought the Valkyries were supposed to lose that game against Valkyries supposed to lose that game against Atlanta the other day. They had to come from behind in a big way to win that game. They went into the fourth quarter and outscored the Atlanta Dream by 7 to win the game by 3. So I typically don't like betting teams when I think they should have lost their last game because things tend to catch up. So, but I can't take the Liberty here in this spot just because they got the look ahead. So first half under is the play here, under 80.5. From a player prop perspective, like the Liberty don't give up, the Valkyries don't give up a bunch of points in the paint. So I'll probably look at like Jocko Jones under her points. She had a really good game against Seattle in that last game as well. So, yeah, that'll be it, man. Let's see. Quick recap. Going back to the top, Minnesota for me in that first game. If I am betting it, which I have not bet it, so let's make this red. But yeah, Minnesota for me in that first game. Best number you can get with Minnesota is -3. I'm just take the 3.5 because the 3 is juiced at -120. I also kind of think that game goes under, so I'll put Minnesota and Dallas under. You know what? I'm not. I will not be playing that total. Natasha Howard over her 15.5 points. Portland, Washington. I'm definitely not betting that game. If I'm betting this over at Washington, no, but that's gross. And then Las Vegas and Chicago. If I'm betting that one, because I think the Aces could let down defensively. Chicago may be able to score the basketball over 179.5. Hate getting to the late, the late line, but so I probably won't be on that. But that makes a ton of sense because of the look ahead spot for the Aces, and then New York, Golden State first half under as well, under 80.5. Thinking that the Liberty, play a little bit of defense. Valkyries offense and defense has been really, really good at home in the first half. So that's what I like for today. Yeah, hit the like on the way out. Subscribe if you guys have not. Turn the notification bell on. Check the resources out. They're all linked in the description of the video. Enjoy your Sunday, man. Enjoy the action, and I'll catch you guys in the next one, man. I'm out.